Okay, let's dive right into one of biology's most dangerous paradoxes, how someone who looks and feels like the picture of health can suddenly have a massive, catastrophic heart attack.
I mean, listen to this statistic. It's terrifying, but it's true. For half of all men who have heart disease, there are no warning signs. No chest pain, no shortness of breath, nothing. One minute they feel totally fine, and the next, it's all over. But this isn't just some random, unlucky event. There's a very specific biological reason this happens, and understanding it is absolutely critical.
And this is the central mystery we're going to unravel today. How is it possible that your body can be capable of peak physical performance while at the very same time it's hiding a lethal condition? Your body is so good at adapting, it can actually mask a 90% blockage, keeping you feeling great right up until the second it fails.
So, to really get our heads around this, our investigation has to start with the heart's own plumbing, the very anatomy that creates this seemingly impossible situation.
The best way to think about your heart is like a massive tree, and the coronary arteries, they're its root system. They wrap all around it, pulling in the oxygen and the nutrients it needs to survive. So you can imagine if you sever one of those roots, the part of the tree it supports, it starts to die, instantly.
Now, in this root system, there's one main trunk, and that's the left anterior descending artery, or the LAD. In the ER, it's got a pretty grim nickname, the Widowmaker. And why is that? Because it feeds the heart's main powerhouse, the left ventricle. You block a small twig, you might lose a leaf, but you block this main artery, the entire tree falls down.
Okay, so we've got the basic plumbing down, but here's the twist. The real danger isn't just about a blockage. It's about how your own body becomes an accomplice in a cover-up, actively hiding the evidence of the threat that's growing inside your arteries.
So it all starts with these tiny little injuries. Things like high blood pressure or even just decades of intense exercise can cause microscopic tears in your artery lining. Your body, trying to help, rushes to repair them, and it uses LDL cholesterol as a kind of biological spackle. But then the immune system overreacts, causing inflammation that hardens this little patch into what we all know as plaque. Now this slide right here, this gets to the core of the misconception that literally gets people killed. We all think of plaque like a clog in a drain pipe, right? Slowly narrowing over time until the flow stops. We assume we'd feel that happening, but that's not how it works at all. Instead, the artery wall actually stretches outward to make room for the plaque, keeping the channel for blood flow wide open. It's a hidden bulge, not a narrowing pipe. There's a name for this. It's called positive remodeling, and it's the reason you can have severe disease with zero symptoms.
So that begs the question, right? If your body is so good at hiding the problem and keeping the blood flowing, what's the trigger? What's the thing that flips the switch from feeling perfectly healthy one minute to a massive heart attack the next?
All right, let's look at how this ticking time bomb actually detonates. It turns out there are two main ways this silent plaque can suddenly become a life-threatening emergency.
The first, and by far the most common culprit, is something called a plaque rupture. This is what causes that classic sudden heart attack, and it has everything to do with how stable the plaque is, not how big it is.
So instead of a hard rock, picture that plaque as this soft, angry, inflamed blister just hiding under the surface of the artery wall. A sudden spike in blood pressure, maybe from stress or some intense exercise, can tear that blister open. The body absolutely panics. It thinks it's a massive wound, so it forms a huge blood clot to seal it. And that clot, it becomes like a cork in a wine bottle, instantly shutting off all blood flow. See, it wasn't the plaque itself that stopped the flow, but the body's massive overreaction to it.
But that's not the only way this happens. There's another scenario, and you see this one a lot in endurance athletes. It's not about a rupture, but about a simple and brutal mismatch between supply and demand.
Just look at this chart. When you're at rest, even if you have a 50% blockage, your artery can supply way more blood than your heart needs. It's like a slightly crimped garden hose. You still have plenty of water coming through. But during intense exercise, your heart's demand for blood goes through the roof. It needs a fire hose worth of blood, and that crimped artery just can't deliver. Demand skyrockets past supply, and the heart muscle starts to suffocate and die.
Now, all of this sounds pretty grim, I know. But here's the cool part. Biology has also built in a potential lifeline for us. It's a secret backup system that can make all the difference during a crisis.
It's this amazing thing called collateral circulation. Think of it like this. If a main artery, your interstate highway, gets a slow-moving traffic jam over many, many years, the heart literally builds detours.
It paves new side streets to get around the blockage. This is actually why a 70-year-old might survive a heart attack that kills a 40-year-old. The older heart just had more time to build those life-saving bypasses.
Okay, so we get the paradox. We get the cover-up, and we get the triggers. Now for the most important part of this whole thing. How do we find this invisible threat before it's too late?
And this is so important. Your standard cholesterol panel, it can give you a really dangerous false sense of security. It's like knowing all the ingredients for a cake, but having absolutely no idea if that cake is actually being baked inside your arteries. You have to look at the arteries themselves.
So let's break down the options here. You've got your standard blood work. It sees potential risk factors, but it completely misses the actual plaque. Then you've got a CAC, or calcium score. This is a great next step. It uses a CT scan to see the old, hardened, calcified plaque. But even that can miss the most dangerous kind, those soft, unstable blisters. For that, you need a CT angiogram, which uses a special dye to light up the inside of your arteries. It's the only test that sees both the hard plaque and that dangerous, soft, rupture-prone plaque.
And just to put this in perspective, a CAC score of 0 is perfect. But a score over 400, well, that's what doctors consider a ticking time bomb. It means there's a significant amount of hardened plaque already in your arteries, and that dramatically increases your risk.
And this is exactly why the CT angiogram is the ultimate early warning system. It's the only tool we have that can peel back the curtain and actually see those invisible inflamed blisters. It lets you find the fire before the whole house burns down.
All right, so to wrap this all up, let's just quickly recap the big takeaways. First, and this is a big one, you can feel fantastic and still have severe heart disease. Second, your body is a master of disguise, actively hiding the danger through that positive remodeling. Third, the deadliest heart attacks usually come from small, soft, unstable plaques rupturing. And finally, the technology now exists to see what was once completely invisible. And it really just leaves us with one final thought. You know, a heart attack in a seemingly healthy person is almost always a preventable tragedy. It's a tragedy born from not knowing what's really going on under the hood. We have the tools to look. The only real question left is, are you choosing to use them?